The countdown to the presidential election continues. Good evening. I'm Kim Chapman.
And I'm Latricia Thomas. With only 76 days until the presidential election, leaders are preparing for more absentee and early voters than ever before.
Kylie Thomas joins us now in the studio to explain why. Kylie.
Yeah, we actually just found out that only 50% of votes in Hamilton County were actually cast in person on Election Day. The rest opted for mail-in or early voting. Tennessee polls were pretty bare on August 6th as voters showed up for the primary election in a pandemic.
I haven't been out anywhere since March, except to the grocery store.
Cheryl Tompkins was nervous about the crowds at the polls, but turns out she beat most of them.
The anomaly this year was the increase in absentee ballots.
The Hamilton County Election Commission says if you combine absentee and early voters, that makes up nearly 50% of all the votes. The other half, like Tompkins, voted on Election Day.
There again, I sent my husband in and said, inspect it, otherwise I will miss, because it was a primary where it wasn't that drastic.
Mail-in voting was up 9 times the usual amount. And of all the possible fraud being attached to this kind of voting, the Hamilton County Election Commission says they found an issue with less than 1% of those absentee ballots. Becky Baumgartner says that's mainly because people forgot to sign their ballots. So while the Election Commission is certifying the final results now, voters already have their eyes on November.
I've already called the Hamilton County Commission about early voting.
Trying to cast their vote despite the unusual times. Now, those absentee voters who forgot to sign their ballot before mailing it back were able to resubmit it with a signature, so those 62 votes did count. Latricia? Kylie, thank you. According to the Hamilton County Election Commission, voters can request mail-in ballots for the November election now. That is all the way up until October 27th, but they say the earlier you request it and get it and then send it back, the better.